Hi there. I'm excited to be with you today. I may be amateur at what I'm doing with making videos, but I am good at organizing kitchens and making them more functional. And I want to talk to you today about moving into a new kitchen and what you do to make the kitchen most functional when you're starting from scratch. And the first idea that I want you to remember with everything you're doing with moving into your new kitchen is that whatever works together lives together. So that means knives and cutting boards work together, so they live together. You store them in your kitchen. They don't have to be in the same cupboard, but they need to be in close reach of each other and close to where you're going to use them, which is typically maybe in your prep center, but definitely close to your sink. You're going to cut fruits and vegetables and different things, and you're going to want the sink to wash them. Anyway, so you store what you use, where you're going to use it, and things that work together live together. And the first area that we'll talk about tonight is your prep center, where you do most of your food preparation. You make your casseroles there, you do your fix whatever you're baking, you mix it up together there. Whatever you're doing to fix a meal, this is what happens in your prep center. So you need a bit of counter space. This is probably the area where you need the most counter space for what you do. And so what I'd like you to do now is ask yourself several questions about what you specifically do in your kitchen, because what you do might be different than what I do or what some friend does. You need to make your kitchen work for you. So do you prepare a lot of food from scratch, or do you use mixes? Do you make bread or yogurt, or do you, whatever it is you do, are most of your meals prepared from boxes that are, prepared food already? What kinds of things do you do when you're preparing food? Think about that. Think about the food that you use, like are you adding spices or do you use little packets of mixes? And what tools do you use? You need bowls, you need mixing spoons, wire whips, measuring spoons, measuring cups, maybe a hand mixer or a food processor. Whatever it is, whatever tools you use when you're fixing food, that's the kind of stuff that goes in your prep center. And you want to put whatever you use the most with easy access. You want to be able to get it out and put it away easily. And the area that's prime real estate is the area that's easiest to reach. So you need, so just think about the kinds of things you do in your prep center and the stuff that you would put there. Now at this point, I don't want you to start putting things away. Let's keep going with some other things that you do in your kitchen. Your cleaning center, your sink center, dishwasher. You want to store your dishes close to your dishwasher most of the time. If that isn't possible, then the dishes like that you set the table with should be closer to the table. And whatever you're doing, say your table's over in this direction and your dishwasher's here, then wherever you store your dishes should be somewhere in between. Don't have your dishes stored way over here if your table's here and your dishwasher's here. Okay? Work that out so it's easy to use it and easy to put it away. One time I was helping a girlfriend, and she called me and she said, "Brenda, I got to do something with my kitchen." And it was really exciting to help her. She was a person that didn't have organizational techniques just come natural. Some people it comes natural to, but it did not come natural to her. But she wanted things to be clean and organized. So I had a ball helping her with her entire kitchen. I mean, we cleaned cupboards, we did spring cleaning, but we also figured out where to put things. And she had fancy dishes that she hardly ever used in the cupboard right above her dishwasher. So, Eugene, this doesn't work. This is prime real estate. And she'd just recently been remarried, and her husband had brought a hutch with him that had some of his books and paperwork and things in, stuff that didn't really belong in a hutch anyway. So I asked, I said, "Do you think he'd mind if we put that in the office?" Because the kids had all grown and gone, and they had a room now that could be an office. And so anyway, he was agreeable to that. So that was the first thing we did. We emptied his hutch and moved it there. Then we could put her fancy dishes in the hutch. And the dishes she used every day could go above the dishwasher. Works a whole lot better. Makes it a lot easier to clean things up. So look at these other activities that you do in your kitchen. Figure out where you want to put your dishes. Think about making lunches. Do you make the kids' lunches or your lunches, or does your husband or somebody else? Where does that happen? Because that doesn't necessarily need to be in the prep center. But what goes with the things you do for making lunch? Do you have some kind of lunch box or lunch bag that you always put the lunch in? Where does that go? Can you have it close, maybe close to the fridge, in a cupboard that near where you have other foods that go in your lunches, like snack things that go in the lunch, stuff that doesn't go in the fridge? That in your lunch bags and Ziploc baggies can be in that area. And if it's close to your fridge, then you've also got, and bread could be stored there, for making sandwiches, whatever. But think about that function of making lunches and what you use for it and where you could do it. And quite probably out of the way from your prep center, because maybe kids are making lunches while they could be making lunches for the night before while you're cleaning up supper, whatever it is. Look at where you want to do things so that you're not in each other's way. Or maybe they're making lunches in the morning when you're making breakfast. Again, make it so that those things work, but not necessarily in the same area, so you're tripping over each other. And one of the other things you can think about for breakfast that could be handy, do your kids eat box cereal for breakfast all the time? If they do, is there a way to have bowls and spoons near where you have the cereal? Again, maybe near the fridge because they pull out the milk. If it's all close together, the kids are a lot more likely to put it away than if they have to go to the pantry to get the cereal and go to the fridge to get the milk and go over somewhere else to get the bowl. See if you can make that all happen in the same general area. Okay, what other kinds of things do you do in your kitchen? Think about that. I've mentioned before that I make fruit smoothies all the time, and I have that in a different area than my mixing center or my prep center. I do that close to my fridge because of what comes out of my fridge, and just where I store everything close to that. When you look at these other things, look at what tools you need to do the job. Because all of your knives and cutting boards might be in one general area, close to your sink. But what about for your lunch? Are you maybe slicing apples? Are you doing other things where you need a tool that you obviously need in the prep center, but maybe you need a duplicate somewhere else where you're doing things? I have an area where I have duplicates because of making my fruit smoothie. I've got a little cutting board there. I've got knives there. Whatever it is you're doing, think about that, because sometimes you do want duplicates just so that they're handy. So once you have figured out what areas you want to do your work in or where you want to have things stored, then you need to start figuring out how to put it away. Well, the first thing I want you to think about is your shelf height. Most kitchens today, the shelves are all adjustable. You can pull the little things out and move the shelves where you want them. The first thing I do is figure out what I want on the bottom shelf in your upper cabinets. What do you want on the bottom shelf? And I try to make that kind of the similar height. Like, I don't want stuff on that bottom shelf that's extremely high and other stuff that's really low. And on that bottom shelf, I like to put things that are shorter. And the reason for that is that you then bring that shelf down just as low as you can comfortably bring it. I mean, don't make it hard to get at your stuff, but bring it down low. Don't leave it up here where the builders have probably put it. Put it down where it works for you. And then do the same thing with the next shelf. Whatever you want on that shelf, put it there, and then bring that top shelf down as low as you can. That way you can reach what's on the top shelf. It's not near as hard to get at because you've made that adjustment. And I like putting things up there that are higher, that are easier to get at, or finding a way to make that shelf more easy to use. And in a different video I did mention this, but I'm going to repeat it here just because I'm helping you get your thing figured out. This box I've got with things I use for my menu this week, and it goes on a top shelf in my cabinet. It's easy to pull it down, set it on the counter, get what I want, and put it back up. And what that does is make that top shelf a lot more handy. If I put those cans on that top shelf, it'd be hard to reach what's at the back. It gets lost. I mean, I can't even reach it. I've got to find something to step on to get to the back of that top shelf. That box or a bin, you can make it look prettier with a bin. I'm just a cheapskate. That works. If I want it to look pretty, I might cover it with burlap or something, but what I'm doing is making it functional. I'm making that top shelf so I can get at those things without them being back so far I can't reach them. And so you bring your shelves down as low as you can, figure out what you need to put on there. And one of the things I mentioned in another tape is contain and conquer. So it's good if you've got small things to put them in some kind of bin so that they're not just falling all over. And when you're putting things in your lower cabinets, I want to go just the opposite way. I want the things that are narrower on the top shelf. So I raise the shelf up as high as is functional and then put things on that top shelf. And I just found something new this last week that I love for bottom cabinets. Look at this. Look at this box. It's pretty sturdy. And it is literally the right size to fit in the bottom cabinets. So look what I put in there. I've got my hand mixer that I use often, and this stick blender that I don't use near as often, so it's at the back. I can pull this out just a little ways and grab this. And I've got the mixer that I need. But this box, you can all find. This one and this one both fit great in a bottom cabinet. Now here, I've got high stuff and lower stuff in it. But that, you know, do what you can with that. I love to have my oils in some kind of container because it always seems that even if I wipe them off, there's mess that collects on the bottom of the counter bottom of the cabinet where your oils sit. That's kind of handy. But both of these boxes, they're free. I found them at Walmart. They hold shelf paper or contact paper, and they're just the right size to take full advantage of all the cabinet space in your bottom cabinets. So anyway, if you like collecting boxes to make good use of them for storage, that's one that I love. And these are others that you could use. This one actually will go this way in a top cabinet, as long as your door is wide enough. And this one is a perfect size. I get this at Sam's, at, what's it called? Well-Picked Berries. I mean, they always have these boxes there. And they're so handy because they will turn your bottom shelves, your bottom cabinets, into drawers. So things on your, especially the bottom shelf of your bottom cabinet, is hard to get at. Put things in this box and you can slide it out and get to it so much easier. Make it easy to get at your stuff. And of course, I'm sure there's bins that you can find to buy to make some of that happen too. I just, like I said, I'm kind of a cheapskate, so I like using boxes. But find ways to put things away so that you can get at it. And your things that you use the most often need to be a quick, easy grab. The things that you use less often can be further to the back or higher up or more awkward to get at. But that's my ideas, I guess. I hope this gives you some ideas of what you could do as you're moving into your kitchen. And I honestly want to help you do it. I love helping people make their kitchens more functional. And in case you're interested, I've got some notes here that you can take a screenshot of. So let's see if I can. There, I think that's where you can get a screenshot of that if you want it. Kind of summarizes these ideas. So hopefully you've got that if you want it. And I truly do get a kick out of helping people organize. And I'm just getting started with this. I don't know if I'll get many hits, but if there's anybody that actually wants to ask me some questions and let me give you some specific help. I'd love to do it. Just make notes in the comments, ask your questions in the comments, and as long as I've got time, I'll be happy to answer them, because I really do have fun doing this. I could even arrange, if you wanted, possibly to do a Zoom call and help you with specific questions or whatever, because my real talent is coming into a home and helping you in your home to make the area more functional. That's what I'm good at. Making videos and trying to tell you how, that's new, but I am good at doing it in the home. So I hope you have fun and have a great day. Have fun moving into your new kitchen.